This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
is SAFM. This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry
The
yesterday?
actual gala performance take place for folks who are now interested and can't be in the room.
So the gala event will take place on Friday, the 10th of October, so next week, and you will be able to stream it via YouTube. The times will be between 6:30 and 7 p.m.
Okay. Lovely stuff. We love to hear it. And of course, Zanele, I mean, both of you have really carved your own path in the creative and artistic sector. And Zanele, you've become quite synonymously known for your ability to bridge the gap between emerging artists, collectors, and galleries alike. How important is it for young artists? And you spoke about that mentorship element, right? How important is it for young artists coming out from these sort of schooling avenues straight off the bat to understand that ecosystem and how to maximize and exploit it?
No, it's very important because, like I said, the art industry is very different, and most of the time there's not a template to sort of give away to these young emerging artists, but for them to understand how to play and also to consider themselves as a brand. I think that's one thing that a lot of artists don't consider. So to place them as a brand and also as a business person, not just only focusing on your artistic talent, so that you're able to navigate the industry around and form collaborations with galleries or corporates, and also work with other artists in order to maximize the potential of the career growth and stuff like that. Yeah, but I also like to mention that the exhibition will happen on Thursday between after 6 to 7 at the MTN Innovation Center in Randburg. Yeah.
At the MTN Innovation Center.
Center, yes, the head office.
Okay. Are we all invited to the exhibition? Is it a one-day thing or is it up for a while?
It's a one-day thing, but the show will be on, I think, for a month.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
and
you.
the artworks for the finalists will be on sale, so please come and support and give these young artists some confidence.
I mean, that's if MTN doesn't scoop up the entire collection for themselves, for the corporate collection, and hold on to it to see who from this crop of young artists will make international traction and international headway. But also tell me, just from the work that you are seeing emerging, Mongezi spoke about the young superstars, and from the work that you are seeing from a visual perspective, how are these young artists sort of positioning their voices versus, say, generations before?
I think it's very different and very diverse. I think because artists now have, especially these young ones, they have such a sense of freedom in their life, in their environment, and in comparison to the works before where they spoke about the struggles and all of that. But now because of such a sense of liberation within oneself to create whatever that they want, and also because I think the opportunities are so broad that it allows them to tap into any kind of industry, whether it's digital. I mean, now there's NFTs, there's Meta Universe. So there's so much, and then they can still actually tap into the traditional gallery space. And then there's a lot of collaborations that are happening within artists, different artists, whether they're writers or photographers or videographers. So it's very exciting. I think also they're exposing us to what's the possibility of how we can actually expand the creative industry and actually break the molds of the old ways and actually move into the new ways. So I'm very excited by, what these young kids are doing, and yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, it sounds like it's been an incredible journey, and it's going to culminate in 2 spectacular nights with that exhibition happening on Thursday at the MTN Innovation Center. That's when it opens. And then, of course, on Friday, you get to see the young theatre makers in production, and you can watch that on YouTube if you don't have yourself an invite, starting from 6:30. Zanele Mashumi and Mungezi Ntukwana, thank you so much for the time today. And together they are the curator and artistic director for the Act Nyaluha, the exhibition, as well as the performance gala. It's fast approaching 1:30. In just under a minute, Ondela is going to be coming through with the headline news, and then we are going to have a quick catch up with Uputbongani Tembe, who's the chief executive and artistic director for the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra, and they're going on a national tour titled Voices of Home. I'm sure a lot of classical lovers are going to be quite excited for this one. So we'll find out what's on the agenda there, and then we'll catch up with the Durban Grannies Football Club.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
So, Minister Mutsoledi, I was talking about whistleblowers. There's a feeling amongst many people that when you become a whistleblower, you are not sufficiently protected. So rather keep your mouth shut.
Well, I don't think it's okay, because when you do so, you are handing over the country to criminals. And today, as I was explaining the story of Mr. T, I was explaining how he impressed me. Mr. T was shot 2 times and surviving.
Yeah,
he's on retirement, he's in hiding. Now, he is continue to testify virtually. I did ask him, why are you doing that, even when you have been threatened like this? He said, people have fought for this freedom, and I'm not about to hand it over to criminals.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has approached the Special Investigating Unit to probe allegations of fraud, corruption and maladministration in several departments in the province. South Africa's late ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa, has been remembered for giving financial assistance to needy learners in KwaMthethwa in KwaZulu-Natal, the rural area where he grew up. And Israel has reiterated that the Global Summit Flotilla mission is a stunt. This statement follows the Israeli military's interception of the last boat in the aid flotilla attempting to reach blockaded Gaza. A flood update follows at the top of the hour.
Stages, pages, screens and more on the Full Circle.
The Gunners of London just want to emphasize that only victory can open the door to the summit.
Put in, and it's been headed home. Gabriel with a towering header.
However, the Hammers want to avoid spending time in the relegation zone.
With the strike, it's brilliant. That is what they needed. Jared Bowen gets West Ham level.
This is the Premier League. Do not miss out on Arsenal FC versus West Ham United this Saturday, 4 October at 3:30 p.m. Live on SABC3 and SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Pages, screens and more on the Full Circle with Bridget Masinga.
Me looking at my young technician going, why you played my liner from halfway? So all I heard was spages. It's stages, pages, screens and more on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. We're catching up with Uputbongani Tembe now, who's the Chief Executive and Artistic Director for the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra. And they're going on tour come this December. It's a national tour, and I'm sure it's going to excite a lot of people. How are you doing, Uputbongani?
Good afternoon to you, Bridget, and the listeners. The last time I saw you was on stage at the FNC Starlight.
And what a fun time we had in Durban.
Yes, and you were stunning. You were stunning.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So we are having exciting times this summer because you are taking the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra on tour. Before we even get to the tour, is this now the combination of the orchestras? Because I know you're in charge of quite a few orchestras.
Yes, so Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra, one should look at it like the Springboks or Banyana Banyana. We get the best available South African musicians in South Africa and abroad, just like the Springboks or Banyana Banyana, or like the Athletics South Africa when we're in Japan. They just get the best talent of South Africa and then just showcase it to the world. So it's exactly the same concept.
Oh, I see.
So some musicians come from the KZN Philharmonic, from the JPO, from various orchestras in Cape Town, universities, also some solo artists, and others from orchestras overseas, the London Philharmonic. Our concert master is the concert master of the opera and ballet in Amsterdam and things like that.
Wonderful. I mean, okay, but that sounds like quite, although you've always been a rather ambitious man, that sounds like quite the ambitious project, because how do you correlate all these diaries and then bring everybody together, for purpose of rehearsal?
Yes, we do it. We do it every year. And this is the third or the fourth year that we're doing this, and the concerts get sold out. The musicians showcase their skills. We utilize the concert to bring South Africans together, and it's really, really a pleasure. It's a fantastic project.
How big is this orchestra, by the way?
Well, the orchestra, it depends on the program, but anywhere between 70 and 110 musicians.
Yeah, all right. I now know, because of of that pop opera, exactly what 110 musicians on stage in orchestra looks like, and it's quite a big showcasing. Let's talk about, you mentioned the fact that you've convened these international stars. Talk to me about folks like your conductors for this one, and I know that you've got as well a South African cello sensation joining you here, and a master percussionist.
Yes. This year, we are calling this tour Voices of Home, because it's a celebration of South Africa's heritage and world-class music artistry. And I'm so excited that we're featuring the South African cellist, Abel Selowache, who will actually perform his own compositions called Four Spirits Concerto, which is really inspired by his experiences whilst growing up in South Africa and the environment in South Africa. So it really reflects our heritage in South Africa. And the conductor is the legendary Maren Alsop, who conducted our first national tour in 2022. So we are very, very excited.
Sounds exciting indeed. So you're hitting all three cities by way of schedule. What does that look like for folks that are now enthused and wanting to come through?
Yes, so the concerts, this is our most expansive national tour yet, because for Johannesburg, because it's already sold out, we've decided to do two concerts this year. On Wednesday, the 10th of December, and on Thursday, the 11th of December. And then we travel to Durban for a 3 o'clock show on Saturday, the 13th of December. And then we close the concert in the mother city at the Cape Town City Hall at 6 o'clock on the 16th of December. We're starting early at 6 o'clock because it's a public holiday, which is a day of reconciliation. And which means people won't be rushing from work, and two people can go to the concert, spend 2 or 3 hours, and they still have time to go and have a fabulous dinner in some of the stunning restaurants in Cape Town.
Yeah. Now, you know, a lot of folks who listen to the show are going to say, but the unfairness of Johannesburg getting 2 dates whilst Durban and Cape Town get 1 day, was that just a scheduling constraint given the time of the year?
Well, it's a scheduling thing, but also just Johannesburg is the biggest market. It's bigger, and so that's what we're doing. In the future, in Cape Town, we'll also perhaps do 2 concerts there, and it's just still at the beginning phases of things. Okay. I must add that we're not only doing spectacular symphony concerts, which will feature also Rachmaninoff Symphony Number 2, one of the most spectacular and popular concertos in the repertoire, the Rachmaninoff Symphony Number 2. But in each city, we'll be visiting hospitals as well to just inspire hope, and especially during the December period.
Oh, wonderful. By way of ticketing booking, I didn't ask you, ticketing booking and venues for these 3 dates.
Yes, in Johannesburg, concerts will be at the Linda Auditorium, 10 and 11 December. In Durban, at the Playhouse Opera Theatre on the 13th of December. And in Cape Town, at the Cape Town City Hall on the 16th of December. People can buy their tickets at Quicket, and they must do so quickly before it is sold out.
Absolutely, and I get the feeling that it will sell out very, very quickly indeed. I'll definitely be at the Linda Auditorium one of those days. But Bongani, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much for the time, and it sounds like you're gearing up for a fabulous summer ahead with the orchestra.
Yes, we're so excited, and the musicians, more importantly, just cannot wait. They're so excited.
Wonderful stuff. That was Bongani Tembe, Chief Executive and Artistic Director of the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra. As you've heard, this is a convening of the very best musicians from the Johannesburg, Cape Town, as well as other musicians flying in from all over the world that are South African for the Mzansi National Philharmonic Orchestra. 4 dates, 3 cities, Wednesday, 10th and 11th of December in Johannesburg at the Linda Auditorium, just down the road here from us. And then on the 13th of December in Durban at the Playhouse. That's a matinee show at 3 p.m. And then at 6 p.m. in Cape Town, a little bit of a sundowner show on the 16th of December at the Cape Town City Hall. And Quicket is where you can go to get your tickets for this one. No doubt Kutlwano might be in conversation in the coming weeks with some of the musicians that are going to be featuring here, especially some of those rock stars that are making their way back into the country to come and take to the stage in that orchestra. When it all comes together as a full orchestra, depending on the venue, you've got in excess of around 120, 130 musicians on that stage. It is 20 to 2 o'clock on the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on SAFM, leading the conversations that lead the nation on this fine Friday afternoon. We're going to take a quick pause, and then we come back and we hear more about these magogos who are putting on their football. Tiwan, what are football shoes called? I don't even play soccer. Kingy? I don't believe y'all. What my producer just whispered in my ear. Ama? Cogs. Okay. If they say so. If that's not what a football shoe is called, don't come for me. It's my producers that have told me this. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to catch up with the Durban Grannies Football Club.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
My name is Jabu Mahlangu, aka Shuffle the Pack, aka One Hour Swing. I start my day with a short prayer. I give hugs to my kids. I'm very playful. I love all the genre, but Kwaito is number one. Kwaito is our culture. About the late Mandoza, about the late Mapaputsi, and I could relate. And it's in us focus. Ivory Coast for me, it was a beautiful country. I know ukuthi abanye bathanda ezinye indawo Mauritius lezo indawo is a love. SABC Sport, this is the main one. Wonke lawo amanye ama channel azalwe because of SABC.
Catch Jabu Shuffle Masangu unpacking the beautiful game in a lingo you love on match days, live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
I don't love going to school. I don't love sitting in a classroom with 50 other children. But I do love learning. Yakuthanda ukufunda isiXhosa as a language. I do love getting good grades. I do love UCT Online High School because I do love my future. Apply online before 28 November.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Shayla Ndikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Zwane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Khomoto KG Mweketsi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Sundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Kherika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM. You are listening to The Full Circle.
Alrighty, let's touch base with some other folks coming out of Durban, and we're looking at the Durban Grannies Football Club that's headed to Cape Town for the Cape Town Soccer Tournament. We are going to be in conversation now with Hlogomani Ndwandwe, who is the team organizer and a member of the Durban Grannies FC. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thanks, and you?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Gogo. Cannot complain. I mean, let's get into this one because I'm so excited for you guys. I got a call from Muzanele Muholi with the Muholi Art Institute who are stepping in to back the Durban Grannies Football Club. And she said, Bridget, have you heard about the Gogos? Do you know about Abo Gogo that play football? And I was like, I have no idea what to Kulumangan. Tell me more. So how did this come about? How did the Durban Grannies Football Club come about?
It came about when some of us grannies, meaning people who are over the age of 60, met through a government-funded program called Golden Games, which encourages grannies or older persons to form themselves into clubs and play sports to just prolong their lives and mitigate the chronic conditions associated with aging, like hypertension, diabetes, and things of that sort. So I am in some respect, and I've met grannies from Durban through playing in those structures because we tend to start at local level, then district level, then provincial level. Ultimately, we form a KZN team that travels to play with other provinces. And we became friends, and we decided to play together when we were invited to this tournament. So this club, even though it's called Durban Grannies, it's made up of grannies from PMB and Durban.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then, I love the fact that it serves in part the purpose of ensuring that the Gogos are still active, still keeping in physical health, and in good spirits. But also there's a social element to it because now you've meeting Gogos from all over, and you guys might have shared interest and new friendships are formed. And I wonder, Gogo, did you play soccer before this?
Not at all, except when I was a child and playing with my brothers and friends in the neighborhood. But I've never played soccer before. And when I turned 60 and retired, I was invited to join one of these clubs. In fact, it was a collapsed club because it was post-COVID. It had collapsed during COVID. And I was called to resuscitate the club with a few others who had just turned 60. And that was the first time I really played soccer. To my pleasant surprise, I enjoyed it, and I am good at it, it turns out.
Don't say that, Ngehloni. You must say that with all your chest.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I love it. And then I know, Uti, there's always these listeners of mine, these young slick ones who think they know everything, and they're probably going, yeah, but do they play a full football game? Like, is it a full 90 minutes, and do they play a big field?
Well, we play on the big field, the normal field.
Yeah.
But we don't play for 90 minutes.
Okay.
Sometimes we play for 15 minutes and a break in 15 minutes. Sometimes 20 minutes and a break in 20 minutes.
Okay.
We don't play 45 minutes just to, take care of us because we are grannies.
Yes.
To run for 45 minutes would probably be too much for us.
Of course.
But we get screened before going on the pitch to check our blood pressure, our sugar levels, and things of that nature. So precautions are taken to make sure that we are safe.
And what's the conversation like, Gogo Hlogomani, between the Gogos, both in your team and Gogos from other teams? Are you guys actually finding that playing, football and being part of this program, it's actually done some kind of improvement towards your health, your stamina, and all these fabulous things that doctors like to keep an eye on?
Yes, absolutely. When I started playing soccer on the full field, I could hardly keep my breath for 5 minutes. But these days we play for 20 minutes and we feel it's too short. We would like to play longer. So I can see the level of fitness in myself as well as my teammates and health. I mean, we don't get as sick. We don't get sick as often as we used to before we started playing. So I can see in my own body the fitness level that I have improved, and I am healthier now than I was in my 50s, for example.
Absolutely. Now, let's get to this tournament in Cape Town, because I know that you guys are headed to Cape Town. If I'm not mistaken, it's next week already, right?
Yes, it is next week. The tournament itself will be on Friday next week, the 10th, but we're leaving on Monday.
You're leaving on Monday. Now, talk to us and those that are listening, Uti. How can they get involved? Especially, I mean, they don't have to be Durban natives, but it would be nice if Durban natives also, answer the rallying call to back the Durban Grannies Football Club. How do we plug in? Travel-wise, I know some of your travel logistics have been taken care of, but there's still some things that are outstanding.
Yes, we booked our travel and accommodation, but the actual moving around in Cape Town and from airport to wherever we'll be staying and to the tournament place, all that is still expenses that we need to figure out, as well as our meals, as well as just things like first aid kits and sportswear, tracksuits, T-shirts, exercise gear. Those things are still outstanding for us, and if we can be assisted in those things, we'd be very grateful.
I mean, the fact that you guys have already managed to really rally together and do the heavy lifting by way of the flighting logistic from Durban to Cape Town, and the accommodation is taken care of, and now all you just want is either individual or collective or corporate sponsorships, folks to just come in and take care of the tinier, smaller things in between. So the travel whilst you are in Cape Town, they're getting you all from point A to point B. That needs to be taken care of. The travel of getting the team from Cape Town International Airport and getting them to the hotel, that needs to be taken care of. And then you're still short on things like, because not everyone's economic situation is the same in the Gogo Club. So you're still short of things like food and food vouchers for the week that you are in Cape Town.
Yes. Those are the things, the main things. And then for extras, we'd like to maybe just go and see a few places in Cape Town, but those would be extras.
Of course, that would be lovely.
It would be, yes.
Yeah, that would be lovely. So who knows? I mean, who who knows, maybe we'll even check in our archives to see if we don't know anybody from Cape Tourism that can do something. So for folks that want to help the Durban Grannies Football Club, and you heard Ugogo Hlogomani saying that it's not just Gogos from Durban Central, but it's Gogos from PMB, Pietermaritzburg as well, coming together. And they're from various communities and various economic backgrounds, and they've come together and they're going to play in this Cape Town soccer tournament with other Gogos from around, and really just do us all proud. Where do people go? Who can they contact if they want to plug in and help you guys with one or two things?
Okay, they can contact myself on 078 470 5593, or they can contact us on email, Durban Grannies Football Club @gmail.com.
Okay, Durban Grannies Football Club at gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. You can tell these are Gogos. They spelt out the whole thing on the email. Durban Grannies Football Club.
Yes.
At gmail.com.
We are old school.
You're old school like that. You're old school, but with a youthful spirit. I can hear it in your voice.
Yes.
I love it. I hope, Gogo, that people plug in for this. And I think it shouldn't be a once-off plug-in, right? Because the team is continuously playing and you guys are continuously practicing as well. So some of these things are not a once-off plug-in.
Yes, absolutely. And we have also opened a Facebook page and Instagram page. It's still like empty at the moment, but we'll soon fill it in with good memories.
With good content. I love it because in your kids doing the most. I want to see those reels of you doing all your soccer drills and, doing the vibes that Gogos do. Gogo Hlogomani, it was such a pleasure to talk to you today. That was Gogo Hlogomani Ndwandwe, who is the team organizer and member of the Durban Grannies Football Club. They're going off to Cape Town next week, so they need your urgent help and intervention. You heard that they've already done the heavy lifting and managed to book their flights and book their accommodation, and now they just need the stuff on the ground in Cape Town to be taken care of. We don't want the Gogo stranded at Cape Town International Airport, not knowing how to get from the airport to their accommodation, and also just maneuvering around Cape Town as well. They need assistance in that. Maybe if you have a logistics or transporting, or you're able to book them a shuttle with your company so that you can shuttle them to and from their matches and their rehearsals, from where they're staying to where they need to be. That would be great. And then, of course, they're also asking if you are able to plug in maybe with some food vouchers for them to be able to, grab breakfast and lunch and dinner whilst they are in Cape Town. That would be amazing. These are Gogos from various backgrounds, so not all of them, financially equipped to be able to take on this task, but the spirit and the heart of playing soccer is definitely within them, and they just need us now to push them along whilst they are in Cape Town. It might just be a nice thing for you to do also if you have a corporate and you guys are looking for a lovely little CSI that's a little bit different from the rest. You could always imagine your bragging rights to say, we sponsored the Durban Grannies Football Club. And people are like, oh, Gogo. And you're like, yes, oh, Gogo. We sponsor them. So, you can email Durban Grannies Football Club at gmail.com. That's the email address. Or you can call Ugogo Hlogomani on 078 470 5593. I mean, the very famous South African artist Zanele Muholi has already backed the Gogos with the Muholi Art Institute. And they've been the ones who've plugged in for sponsoring those travel costs for the Gogos to get them to Cape Town. And now we just need to do all the other logistics there. It's 2 minutes to go before the top of the hour. We're just going to take a quick break. And then when we come back on the other side of the top of the hour news, we are going to catch up with Siwele in the book circle. We're going to look at some of the new books that are hitting shelves for October 2025 as you compile that list of your summer must-read books. So we're going to have that conversation, as well as more conversations coming up, touching base with the Market Theatre around a new production also.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
These are the weekend shows on SAFM. Music of Africa with Shayla Ndikumana. The Weekend View with Bongiwe Zwane. The Jet Set Breakfast with Michelle Constant. Seasons with Khomotso KG Mwekezi. The Soundtrack of Your Life with Ernest Pillay. Weekend Soundowner Classics with Kutlwano Masote. Spotlight with Zai Khan. The Weekend with John Kherika. Shifting Your Lens with Bertha Charuma. This is SAFM.
Outsurance is in the business of saving you money on your car insurance premium. If they can't, ask for 500 Rand. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754.
On the top stories, KZN Premier urges SIU to probe allegations of fraud in the province, and Israel calls the Gaza-bound aid flotilla a stunt. For SAFM News, I'm Ondalambana, and a very good day. KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has approached the Special Investigating Unit to probe allegations of fraud, corruption and maladministration in several departments in the province. The investigations are also set to focus on senior government officials, including executive members. Addressing the media in Durban, Ntuli said the departments implicated include transport, education and health, which are all ANC-led. Ntuli, who is the IFP chairperson in the province, said being in a coalition government won't prevent him from acting against those looting state funds. South Africa's late ambassador to France, Nathi Mthethwa, has been remembered for giving financial assistance to needy learners in KwaMthethwa in KwaZulu-Natal, the rural area where he grew up. Lindani Hadebe, the principal of Mbabe Primary School, said he recalled how Mthethwa had to walk a long distance to school himself, but despite challenges like these, preserved with his education. Hadebe says Mthethwa in later years gave back to his community.
I'm really saddened by the news of the passing of former Minister Mthethwa. Mr. Mthethwa started this primary school education in our school, and I got a very great story of a person who showed leadership skills at a very, very young age. But what most importantly touched us as an institution is the fact that he remembered and reflected when he saw the young stars from not so well families to try and contribute in making it a point that they become better, they have confidence, they are better off in terms of how they looked when they go to school.
The Heart Transplant Museum, based at Groote Schuur Hospital, will now recognize all those who took part in the historic first heart transplant in 1967. To date, the museum largely acknowledges the surgeon Chris Barnard, who pioneered the breakthrough surgery. The hospital says it has commissioned curators who must include others like the anesthetist, the nurses, doctors and researchers who were part of the team back then. Grootesker was the site of the first human heart transplant on December 3rd, 1967 by Professor Barnard. The hospital's chief executive, Dr. Shahim de Vries.
Our first heart transplant doesn't happen only because of the skill of the surgeon. It requires many different partners, from the nurses who look after the patient before to the nurses who discharge and rehab the patient, alongside the cleaners, the porters, the security guard that makes the service possible.
Israel has reiterated its view that the global Summit Flotilla mission is a stunt. The statement follows the Israeli military's interception of the last boat in the aid flotilla attempting to reach blockaded Gaza. This comes a day after stopping most of the vessels and detaining around 450 activists, including President Nelson Mandela's grandson, Mandla Mandela, and Swedish activist Greta Thunberg. Deputy Head of Mission at the Embassy of Israel in South Africa, Ariel Seldman.
This was not an aid flotilla. There's actually a video from the Israeli police boarding the flotilla looking for the aid, and there is no aid on these ships. Furthermore, other countries, Italy, Greece, even the Vatican, suggested that they would take the aid and distribute it, and the flotilla organizers did not agree to it. They rejected the offer. And when you go back a little bit, there's also evidence of Hamas being in contact with the organizers of this flotilla. So it's not a humanitarian aid flotilla. It's more of a PR stunt, and it's a stunt in order to raise awareness to a situation.
Seldman has emphasized Israel's intention to release the activists as quickly as possible following the deportation of 4 Italian citizens.
We've seen a few of these flotillas in the past, and they've always been taken care of very well and been released very swiftly. So I don't think there's any cause to worry. As I said, there are photos of them been released, they're taken care of, and they will be released within a short time.
Recapping the top story, KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thamsanqa Nduli has approached the Special Investigating Unit to probe allegations of fraud, corruption and maladministration in several departments in the province. I'm Mondela for SFM News, alliance at 2:30.
Outsurance will go out of their way to try and save you money on your car insurance. If they can't, ask for 500 Rand. SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. You could spend 10 minutes hunting for the TV remote, or get a 10-minute quote from Outsurance that could save you thousands on your car insurance. For her 2024 Kia Picanto, 52-year-old Janine now only pays 561 Rand a month. And for her 2025 Jetour Dashing, 29-year-old Sana pays just 796 Rand a month. Ready to get more out of your car insurance? SMS out to 30754. That's out to 30754. Outsurance, licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
The wait is over. The 2025 and 2026 English Premier League season is here, and the battle for glory is hotter than ever. Can Mohamed Salah light up Anfield once again? Will Erling Haaland keep smashing records for Manchester City? And can Bruno Fernandes drive Manchester United back to greatness? Every goal, every clash, every heart-stopping moment live. Catch the Premier League Saturdays at 3 p.m. only on S3. S3, open up.
Dis-Chem has the best deals just for you, with everything you need on your healthy living journey. Get 20% off the A. Vogel Molkesan range for a healthy digestive system. Buy any 3 Slowmag products and get the cheapest free for relief from muscle cramps, fatigue and stress. And get 2+1 cheapest free on any Turbovite supplements to boost physical and mental performance. Offers valid until 19 October at Dis-Chem, your healthy living destination. Better health starts here. Fellow taxpayers, make tax matters a #1 priority by submitting your personal income tax return by the 20th of October 2025 deadline. Once your tax return is submitted, you'll receive a notice of assessment stipulating if there's any tax assessed debt due to SARS or not. Should you owe, it's crucial to settle tax obligations on time to avoid any penalties or interest charges. SARS, at your service.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Floating lazily through the market like a butterfly. Oh yeah, I won't forget the day the sun came shining in. Hey, hey now, oh yeah, just like the dawn, bringing in the rays for that sunshine in Congo. A flaming torch, she lit up the marketplace so brightly. Colors as in a flower garden, gracing her lapper, shimmering in purples and the yellows, and all the shades sparkling in the skies in the rainbows of the Congo. Cornrow hair in a million braids, eyes lit up like the northern star, a smile that weaves a spell when she goes to look into my eyes. She's turning me on with fever as she passes me by. Hey mama, suddenly I'm walking right beside her, really turning her on. When I tell her I'm going wherever, she'll be going when she leaves the market. Right away, I go to carry her bag of vegetables. Hey, hey, now we walk towards the road that goes down to the village. Ooh, mama, she locks the door that leads into her heart. I said, oh mama, yo, the talking drums and the xylophones, all the dum-dums and the doombas, they were waiting. We had a night time of ecstasy, and we woke up to the roar of the lion. She had to rise to the marketplace, to her vegetable stall at the marketplace. That's where the sun rises. I won't forget the day the sun came shining in. I won't forget the day the sun came shining in. I won't forget the day the sun came shining, 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 shining in. I won't forget the day the sun came shining, 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 shining in. I won't forget the day the sun came shining in, shining, shining, shining in. I won't forget the day the
Masinga, the late legendary Hugh Masinga with The Marketplace. Classic Hugh Masinga there, easing you into the weekend, putting you in a relaxed state of mind, I hope, as you get ready for 2 days of relaxation. All right, our next conversation, we're catching up with Modise Sihuate, who is a writer and performer, and the show is Khabo Ligwala. It's an autobiographical interrogation of masculinities currently showcasing at the Market Theatre. It's a mouthful, but this is why we have Modise on the line. How are you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Bridget, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get into it. Khabo Ligwala. And I know Sisutu Sekai is not the one. And it generally it loosely translates into a coward's home, from what I understand.
Correct. Short for a saying which is Khabo Ligwala Akhuliwi. In isiZulu it's Khabo Gwala Agukhalwa. Yeah, which basically I guess just points to the fact that he who walks away from a fight in many ways spares his loved ones from loss, from the pain of his injury or death.
Oh, I see. Okay, which then speaks to what I was reading earlier, that it's an autobiographical interrogation of masculinities.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. Talk to us about that and unpack for us how the saying and sort of this conversation around masculinities, whether we're talking positive masculinity or toxic masculinity, intersect.
So I was raised by my mother and my 3 sisters. My sisters all being much older than me, and as a young boy growing up, kind of trying to find my way as a boy, and then journeying towards becoming a man, I think I was in a rather interesting space because I would come back home crying. Maybe from the playground, someone hit me, someone was bullying me, and when I entered, one of my sisters or my mother would say, which means just leave them be. And I guess in many ways this was their approach, because I guess as women they were kind of raising me to be peaceful, to be respectful, to walk away from fights. But I guess I often sort of try to imagine, I guess, what would happen if there was a male presence in the house, and if I was coming in and someone said, in fact, go back out there and stand up to whoever was bullying you, to whoever was troubling you. And so I think it's kind of a question of how important it is for young men to grow up in the presence of their fathers, in the presence of positive role models who don't teach violence, but who teach you how to stand up for yourself, which is a lesson that is necessary and important for anyone and everyone.
So then I wonder, Modise, as you sort of were working and weaving your way through crafting this piece, because it is almost introspective, like you said, it's autobiographical. What does it then conjure up in the man that you are today? The reflections of your yesteryear, you're sort of taking stock of that relationship with your dad, for everything that it was not, for instance.
Yeah. So I think in many ways the journey of writing this work was most interesting in that I embarked on the journey almost as a way to try and reach for my father, to try and find the absent father. But what turned out happening for the most part is that it became a celebration and an honoring of the present mother. And it became an opportunity for me to reflect on just how lucky I was to to have the women that raised me in my life, to have the nurture and care and kindness that were, that were kind of, just like weaved into my very marrow. And I think that in many ways, as I've grown into a man, those elements I think have become my strength in my ability to deal with my anger, to face sort of, whatever troubles me without kind of lashing out at the world in some of the ways that have been typical of many men in our country, as we know.
I want to continue along our conversation, but I'm just looking at the time and I can see that there's an ad break looming. So let's take that ad spot and then we'll come back on the other side of this.
Hi South Africa, my name is Mazola Molefe, SABC senior journalist and touchline reporter. What makes me laugh? A lot of things make me laugh. Family, seeing my kids grow, becoming the human beings that they are. Some of the stories that I come across are quite laughable. My favorite setup in the house has to be my man cave. I've got a wife and 2 kids. Not that I'm trying to run away from them, but if I had to choose between being a pilot, taxi driver, and a bus driver, it's a tough one. I wouldn't choose either, but if we put a gun to my head, maybe a bus driver. It's tough to walk in the mall sometimes because people are stopping you, wanting breaking news, wanting updates on everything. So that's what I love the most about SABC.
Catch sensational touchline reports on match days with Mazola, Super Journal, Killer Molefe. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Spring is in the air, meaning it's almost time for the 10th SA Garden Day on Sunday, the 12th of October. Celebrate the day with a garden party, lunch under the trees, or cake at a community garden, and invite your friends, family, or neighbors to enjoy your garden with you. Visit gardenday.co.za for inspiration and share pictures of your celebration on social media with #GardenDaySA. SA Garden Day, Sunday, the 12th of October.
Mzansi, Powerball is bringing the thrill with a jaw-dropping 110 million rand estimated jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for an estimated 110 million rand jackpot today and step closer to a world of endless possibilities. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old and play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
SAFM Music. Good times, good memories.
I'm just like somebody wife.
Old school sounding so good. SAFM Music with you wherever you go.
Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
All right, we're in conversation with theatre maker, writer, performer, and of course, Standard Bank Young Artist for Poetry. Umudise Sikhote is on the line with us. Only the second artist, by the way, to be honored with the Standard Bank Young Artist for Poetry after Kollega Putuma. And that play is Khabuli Gwala, which is an autobiographical interrogation of masculinities, and it's showcasing at the Market Theatre. But this is very much a multi-dimensional play, if I'm not mistaken, right, Mudise? Because we've spoken about the element of your reflections growing up in a female-headed home, separated from your biological dad. But the other part of the saying that forms the title of your play also speaks to understanding what you term as the performative heroism that's placed on boys at times, and the fact that bullies themselves invite sorrows to their loved ones.
In many ways, in the exploration of this personal narrative, I couldn't really get into the truth of what I was trying to express without telling the story of my childhood friends, for instance, that I grew up with, and the people that I was with in the playground, where we were, I guess, kind of challenging each other in the ways that that young boys do as they grow up. And, you know, there were those of us that, very few of us who had their fathers. And you could see that was reflected in how they knew how to stand their ground. And there were those who didn't have that, and sort of very early sort of fell into drug, you know, use, and so I tell the story of my childhood friends as well, and I look at how, you know, just how their lives unfold, and how growing up in the township, you know, can be quite treacherous, and how some of these people end up sort of, you know, have ended up as milk addicts today, have ended up in just all these many, in these many directions where it's a consequence of how they grew up, and it's a consequence of how, I guess, also there was just too much emphasis on performative strength, as opposed to, I think, true-rooted sort of personal strength and I guess, you know, a fair and healthy way of being able to engage with the world. Of course, we all run to violence and drugs and all the sorts of things we do because we in many ways we can't handle ourselves. And I think that was I think the gift that I was given by the women that raised me.
You've collaborated with incredible creatives on this project, including a fellow Standard Bank Young Artist Award for Theatre. Talk to us about your collaborators.
Yeah, so Mahlatsi Mokhonyana is one half of the theatre duo. These are fascinating theatre makers for me, have always been because of how they've handled poetry in a lot of their works. I've always been quite inspired by how they put language at the forefront of the theatrical exploration. And so when this moment came around for me, these were the perfect people to engage. And I was also very keen on working on a certain Yogan Salafin, who's a multi-instrumentalist who does amazing things with just kind of, you know, he plays like a whole range of instruments all at the same time, looping, you know, telling stories really with his sounds. A great vocalist, Pomla Siyobi, also is journeying along with us. And so, yeah, it's been a fascinating experience to kind of bring this very personal story into the rehearsal room and share myself with these people in this way, and then have them bring their own journeys to it and have us walk together. So it's been an amazing experience.
And I mean, it sounds wonderful. It's running until the 12th, if I'm not mistaken. Geez, we just have about 2 weeks, just under 2 weeks to go and see the play.
Yeah. We started on the 17th of September. It's been an amazing journey, kind of to just see how very relatable it is to a lot of people. I think from the time we first performed it at the National Arts Festival, I thought it would be a work that's primarily relatable to men. But, you know, even many women are I think in many ways are getting some insights into some of the men in their lives and are understanding a little bit more about the men that they're related to and men in general, but also are seeing themselves as young women who grew up without their fathers, and so it's been fascinating to share the story and kind of also hear other people's stories reflected back.
Wonderful stuff. I appreciate the time with you this afternoon, and looking forward to seeing this piece. No doubt it's probably going to earn you yet another Naledi Award for this production. Modise Sekgote, thank you for your time. Modise is a writer, performer, and of course a young artist recipient for poetry. And that production is on at the Market Theatre, Gaboliguala, until the 12th of October. So you have some time. You can check out the Market Theatre box office if you want to book yourself a ticket for this one. and it sounds like a great production to go and watch. It's just a few minutes before 2:30. By the way, did you hear that the Concourt has ruled in that landmark case that was presented to them? They have ruled for equal parental leave for all parents in South Africa. So both parents, regardless of gender, sex, color, or circumstances, can now be entitled to equal parental leave that they can share amongst themselves. Remember, it was 4 months paid leave for women and then 10 days paid leave for men. I think you can push maternity leave in this country up until 6 months, no, but unpaid. The rest will be unpaid, like your own accord. But 4 months paid leave. Oh, Saba, well. Can we petition for freelancers to be a part of this? Not that I'm going to have another baby, but for future freelancers. For future freelancers, because I think we should also be legally included in such things. So the Concourt unanimously confirmed the constitutional invalidity against sections which deal with maternity and paternity leave under the Basic Conditions of Employment Act and the corresponding UIF legislation, because the minister was cited as a respondent in this particular case. And I think part of his argument and the ministry's argument was that it's going to put a financial burden on the UIF if men were also entitled. I didn't understand, but I'm not a lawyer. I didn't understand how would it put a financial burden, because they're not saying that they want to take the leave in tandem. So they're not saying that Bobai 2, from what I understood, they weren't saying that Bobai 2 Babe on leave for 4 months. They were saying that they want to reserve the right to split the 4 months. So you can take a month, I can take 3. You can take 2, I can take 2. At least that's how I understood the application to the Concourt. Maybe I understood it wrong. I don't know. But that is now the new way of life. It gets thrown to Parliament, right, now to go and change the necessary legislation and things of that matter. So yay, a victory for parents worldwide. And I like that it also spoke to surrogacy, it spoke to adoption, so it took into consideration all the categories of parenting, not just biological. This is a win. Next time, freelancers. 2:30, time for the headline news, and then we're going to get into our kids' programming.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
Thank you, Bridget. On the news headlines, the late Nelson Mandela's family in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape has called for the immediate release of South Africans and other nationals, including Nelson Mandela's grandson Mandla Mandela, who were detained following the interception by Israel of the Global Summit flotilla in the international waters. The Modimolle Regional Court in Limpopo has heard that accused number 1 in the trial regarding the theft of $580,000 at President Ramaphosa's Palapala farm purchased several vehicles to the value of about 4 million rand. And the late former President Robert Mugabe's son has been remanded in custody in Harare pending his bail ruling following his arrest on Wednesday. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
And welcome to Nali Bali. Who loves sweets? They are colorful, tasty, and oh so yummy. But did you know that eating too many sweets can be bad for your teeth and your health? That's why it's important to enjoy them in moderation and take care of our bodies. There's a time for treats and a time for healthy food, and learning to balance both is important. Today's story is all about sweets, making good choices and keeping our smiles bright. Today's story is called A Sweet Surprise, written by Fuzile Mvubu. But before we listen to today's story, let's all get up and dance! Once upon a time in a small town, there lived a cheerful candy maker named Ferries. Ferries was known everywhere for the delicious sweets he made. His sweet shop was filled with jars of brightly colored sweets, chocolate fountains, and toffee apples that glisten in the sunlight. The children of the town loved Ferries and his shop. They often crowded around the windows to watch him make the delicious treats. Ferries loved his job and took great joy in creating new sweets. He loved seeing the children's faces light up when they tasted his creations. However, not everyone in town was fond of Ferries' work.
All that sugar makes the children restless.
The adults grumbled when the children bounced back after visiting Ferris's shop. One day, a shadow fell over the town. It was not a cloud, nor was it a nightfall. It was a massive dragon. The dragon descended with a roar that shook the earth, landing in the town square. The people ran in fear, hiding in their homes and shops.
Humans!
The dragon bellowed.
I am Zarath, the greatest of all dragons. I demand jewels and gold, or else I will burn your puny town to the ground.
Terrified, the people gathered their best jewels and gold and offered them to the dragon. Zarath snatched up the treasure and flew back to his mountain den, leaving the town in a state of shock. But this was not the end. The next week, Zarath returned, once again demanding jewels and gold. The people desperately scratched together what they had left, keeping only a few jewels in case the dragon returned a third time, and he did. The people tried to reason with the dragon, but Zarath could not listen. He demanded that the people find more jewels. After Zarath left, the people gathered in the square, frantically trying to come up with a plan. Faris the candy maker spoke up.
I have an idea. What if we gave Zarath something even better than jewels?
What do you mean, better than jewels?
The mayor asked, puzzled. Faris smiled and held up a sparkling sweet he had just made. It was shaped like a jewel with a sugary sheen and made it look as valuable as any gemstone.
Sweets.
Faris declared.
You see, I can make sweets that look exactly like jewels. And then when Zarath comes, we'll offer him these instead. What do you say?
No. That's madness. He'll soon notice and burn our beautiful town to the ground.
The mayor shouted in panic, but no one else had an idea about what to do. And when they had no more gold and jewels, so the people agreed to Fairy's idea. Fairies worked day and night, creating sweets that looked like rubies, emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds. The people bought the sweets and waited anxiously for Zarath's next visit. When Zarath returned, towering over the town, the people brought him the jewel sweets.
Mighty Zarath, these jewels are not only valuable, they are also delicious. They are better than the ordinary gems because you can eat them.
The mayor said, trembling. Zarath eyed the sweets suspiciously, but in the end his curiosity won. He grabbed a sweet that looked like a ruby and popped it into his mouth. His eyes widened as he tasted the sweet flavor.
This is incredible.
Zarath roared happily, gobbling up the rest of the sweets.
I demand more of these tasty jewels. Bring me as many as you can.
The people were very relieved. The jewel sweets were much cheaper than real jewels. Now they could keep Zarath satisfied without losing all their wealth. But as the weeks went by, Zarath demanded more and more jewel sweets. And the people began to worry. They wished the dragon would leave them alone for good. Then Faris gathered the people and said,
Dear neighbors, don't you worry, because I have something special planned.
When Zarath arrived in the town again, Ferris stepped forward to meet him.
Mighty Zareth!
Ferris said with a grin,
Today, I challenge you to a fight. If you win, you can have all the jewels and sweets in the town. But if I win, you are to depart and leave, never to return.
The people gasped. How could a simple candy maker fight a mighty dragon? But Ferris seemed confident, and Zareth agreed to the challenge. The dragon reared back, ready to bite Ferris in half. But just as he opened his jaws, a sharp pain shot through his teeth.
Ow!
Zareth yelped, snapping his mouth shut. The sweets he had been devouring had given him a terrible toothache. Zareth growled and decided to burn Ferris with his fiery breath. But before he could unleash his flames, Ferris tossed a bright green sweet into the dragon's mouth. It was a sour sweet, the sourest sweet Ferris had ever made. The moment it touched Zareth's tongue, the dragon's eyes watered, and he let out a pitiful moan. The sourness was unbearable.
Ow!
Desperate to get rid of the awful taste that the dragon raced to the river and began gulping down water. He drank so much water that when he tried to breathe fire, nothing came out except steam. Zareth could not take it anymore.
You win! I give up! I give up!
He cried, clenching his mouth. With a great heave, Zareth took off and flew far, far away, never to be seen again. The people erupted in cheers, lifting Ferris onto their shoulder.
Yeah, you well did done, it, Ferris. You saved us.
They cried. Ferris laughed and waved to the crowd. From that day on, Ferris was known not only for his delicious sweets, but also as the candy maker who had outsmarted a dragon. And so we come to the end of another Nali Bali story time. Today's story was called A Sweet Surprise, written by Fuzile Mvubu. Did you know that reading and telling stories to children at home can help them do better at school? If you want free stories to read to your children or for your children to enjoy on their own, visit the Nali Bali website www.nalibali.org or Mobi site www.nalibali.mobi. You will find stories in 11 South African languages as well as tips for reading and sharing stories with your children to grow their potential. Also look out for the bilingual Nali Bali Reading for Enjoyment supplement with great children's stories and activities, available in newspapers. Nali Bali, it starts with a story.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives. Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out, because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Right, we are wrapping up the show now, chatting to Siwela Langeni, who is our regular contributor here for the Book Circle. And we're looking at new books to hit the shelves come this October. Well, it's October already, to hit the books this month of October. Siwela, so many people actually compiling their summer book lists now. The books that they're going to take with them on holiday or on their staycations. And a lot of people actually reserve reading for the last part of the year because they get so busy during the year that they then just decide to catch up on everything over that period of a month.
True. It is a common trend because then at least some people are studying, so you don't want to mix your academic focus with other stuff. Some people, the workload is just so much and juggling, home tasks, children, whatever. So that time where things, we know in Joburg, things start slowing down from about the 15th, 16th. People then, if you're going away, even if you're just going home to the parents, you take books with you. So it is a common thing. And I've seen people, and most people like to take like light reading. But as we know in South Africa, there isn't a lot of light reading. Some people even take the serious stuff because then it's like, you've always been curious about the story. Now you have the time.
Absolutely. I used to be that person, especially when I was studying. I was studying through UNISA in recent years. And I used to read for the show. We often do book reviews. So I'd read for my show. I don't like doing a book review of a book I have not read. And my producers knew, and even this team of producers, they know, but they're better because I'm not studying anymore. I used to have cycles. So if I'm nearing towards exams, like this time of the year, I'm not reading because I'm just reading academic material. So if you don't catch me at that beginning part of the year and then the beginning part of the second half, so August, September, forget me come May, June, July.
You have to wait until I'm done with my studies, focusing,
Absolutely. So you've got the latest books for us for this October. Tantalize our taste buds.
Yeah, so the first one is Healing the Mother Wound by Mushitari Lishomela. She did the book, The Girl Who Survived Her Mother.
Oh, yes,
so
yes.
This is a much anticipated, follow-up from that first book. This one is more of a guide to individuals healing from mother wound, the psychological trauma resulting from maternal neglect, abuse, or emotional unavailability. So the first book, she was sharing more of her story, how she grew up, the unavailability of her mom, and what that led to in her life. So this one, she's using, psychology, neuroscience, spirituality, and ancient wisdom to create a path towards healing and self-mothering, which is something she was talking about in the first book. What are some of those things you would do if you were not mothered growing up? So this is something that we've seen. I mean, I know Nozibele Mayaba talks about it also in her book, and talks about those how this manifests, whether it's personal, cultural, or generational level, and you help. You identify those dynamics that can look like parentification, obsession with perfectionism. And she, in the book, Mushitari provides, the tools to help you, find yourself so that then you can have that self-worth. Because, success requires that inner capacity to identify those things within yourself, because in life is not getting any easier. We need to just get stronger. I think that's what readers will get from this one.
Absolutely. And this is such a pertinent conversation, this healing the mother wound. And it's one that's gotten global tentacles. A lot of women, even a lot of prominent women, writing about it now. I'm thinking, for instance, of actress Brooke Shield, who sat last year in conversation with Oprah, who's got her own mother wounds that she's been unpacking for the last 4 decades. And so it's a very important conversation that this generation and other generations of women are now coming together to really just get to the heart of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next book is more on a fictional level. So Kopano Matra, Dr. Kopano Matra, she's a medical doctor. You remember her work, Coconut, Spilled Milk, Period Pain. She has a book coming out this October, so many of her fans are excited, looking forward to that. She hasn't written in some time. Well, she did a non-fiction book on in collaboration with Dr. Judith Lamini, I think 2 years ago. But fiction, we've been waiting for her. So it's called Bostadi, womanhood, and she explores anxieties of the born free and explores provocations around gender and xenophobia. So she follows two people, Naledi, who's this young woman that's recently married, trying to have a baby, dealing with family issues, and then Auntie, who's her helper, Zimbabwean helper, who's a live-in and is watching all these things unravel, but also while sharing her own life story, being in South Africa, hardly getting a chance to go home, having to realize that she's lost that interaction with her family. She's just literally the ATM because they have a whole life that carries on without her. So I think Kopano has done a good job in just shining a light on these two women's lives. But there are other women around the side, around these two protagonists who are also just telling the story. So it's described as a meditation of gender, grief, xenophobia, violence, and the impossible expectation that swallow women whole. I was like, that's a line and a half.
It really is, but also work coming from really an acclaimed author, because Kubana won the 2006-2007 European Union Award for her first novel, Coconut. And if I remember correctly, Period Pain was also shortlisted for the Sunday Times Fiction Prize, yeah?
Yes. So she is definitely acclaimed, and I think many of her followers have been waiting, and her books continue to sell well to this day at Circle Capital, and I know undoubtedly other bookstores nationwide. Jacana, her publishers, have actually done like a set compressed into one. You can actually buy the 3 books in compressed into one. But I think because of Bosadi, they've done like a cover refresh on all of them. So I think she's going to get all of us excited. We look forward to hosting her at Book Circle Capital in November. She's a very, very busy person, including, because she's still actively in medicine.
Yeah.
So we're trying to just tie a date down, but we're looking like November. We definitely will have that celebration of this work.
Things I love to hear. Let's take a quick pause, and then we'll come back on the other side, and we'll get into the two kiddies titles. It's 10 to 3 o'clock. We'll be back with Siwale as we talk more around our books for October.
Mzansi, Powerball is bringing the thrill with a jaw-dropping 110 million rand estimated jackpot this Friday. Don't delay. Play Powerball for an estimated 110 million rand jackpot today and step closer to a world of endless possibilities. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120*7529# for USSD. Panda, Pusha, play. Players must be 18 years old or play responsibly. E2 is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
We have different languages and cultures, but what we have in common is that we all want a dignified funeral and for our loved ones not to worry about money when the time comes. Trust Clientele to provide you with affordable funeral cover that will pay out within 24 hours. SMS SAFM to 48031. That's SAFM to 48031. SMS now. Clientele Life is a licensed life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates, terms, and conditions apply.
Hi everyone, my name is Itumele Nkune, SABC Sport football analyst. When I feel down and I listen to gospel, it gives me motivation. I'm a person who loves all genres. If I was a chef, my favorite meal that I would prepare would be pap, cabbage, meaty bones, with a bit of acha on the side. My favorite language is Portuguese. Bom dia, como está? Estou bem. What I like about SABC Sport is they give you the platform and the permission to be yourself and speak any language.
Catch the ever-passionate Itumele Nkune's analysis of Bola Leju on match days, live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. You are listening to The Full Circle.
In conversation with Siwela Mlangeni, who is the co-founder of Book Circle Capital, and she contributes to the Full Circle Book Circle. Oh, yeah, it's a bit. The Full Circle's Book Circle every Friday, and we're talking new books to hit October. Okay, you wanted to tell us as well about 2 kiddies titles that we should be excited about.
Yes, we've got How Many Ways Can You Say Thank You by Refilwe Moahludi. So she's done the series. She's got How Many Ways Can You Say Hello? How Many Ways Can You Say Goodbye? So this is a third in the series. We have this character named Sarah that travels the country, going to different provinces, and then learning the phrase in the different languages. So this time is thank you. So she's on a hot air balloon and meeting friends in the different places, and those friends all say, thank you in the different languages. So this is an exciting book. Refilwe is an amazing storyteller. We actually have a launch with her tomorrow at Book Circle Capital at 11 o'clock. So where I know she'll probably be animating this book and just making the story come to life. And she also includes sign language. And what's nice about this book, Bridget, is it comes with a QR code to listen to for those parents maybe who want to hear the pronunciation properly. So she reads the story, so you can have access to then reading where she reads the story, and you can hear how the pronunciation is done. So I think it's a nice one around diversity, understand, children learning about the different places in our country and the different languages.
Yes, the only adjustment I'd make to a book like that, as you talk about the QR code, because I grew up in, and I know technology has moved on, but because I grew up in an era, remember you get those sound books for kids? And I don't know if they still have them where you press and the cow goes moo and the dog goes woof.
I know, I don't see those anymore. I don't know. There's been budget cuts across everything. Maybe this is one of those that was hit by that. But I don't see them much around.
That's the only adjustment. If my mommy brain had to kick in, I'd be like, I'd like my little daughter to press a little button and hear the actual sound as we read the book. If there's any publishers listening to us, I know some listen to the show. Please.
They do. They do. Last week I had people call me say they were listening, so they do listen.
That's what we're putting in the suggestion box this week. So how many ways we can say thank you? And I think this would make a lovely present as well for Christmas for those aunts and uncles like myself who like educational gifts.
Yes, and it's a hardcover, so for your smaller babies who are still wanting to bite the corners, this book will survive.
Lovely.
Will survive a lot of banging. And the last one is Neo's Invisible Blanket by Salamina Mosese. Salamina is not a stranger to broadcasting, so she's an actress, TV producer. And this is her third book. So she's done Disaster at Gogo Spaza.
Yes.
And she did Cook Off at Gogo Spaza. These ones were targeted more at like your tween, ages 8 to 12. So this one is a picture book. It's illustrated by Subi Bosa. And Neo, has to overcome some fears. First day at school or swimming gala, and then has this invisible blanket that just gives them the courage to feel like, they're not alone, which I've seen. I mean, my youngest son had it like a blanket for a long time. We had to hide that thing. We thought, So this Neo's one is invisible, but it's just that, helping children to just stand up when they're feeling scared, to believe in themselves and bravery. It was inspired by her daughters and her nephew. So I think this is also a beautiful one, and it's available in English, isiZulu, isiXhosa, Sepedi, and Afrikaans.
I love it, and it's a wonderful note to leave it on. I love Salamina, and I love the fact that she's found this incredible avenue as a children's author. And she's now 3 books deep into it. So Newa's Invisible Blanket by Salamina Musese, and that is where we leave it. Siwela, always appreciate your time and your contributions towards these reads. I think I'm going to pop in by your bookstore one of these days with my little one, even though she can't even utter a word right now. But we can always start the library collection already sooner rather than later. That was Siwela Langeni, co-founder of Book Circle Capital and author of Friends with Feelings. That is where we leave it this afternoon from our end. Ashraf is standing by. I think I heard him just now. I think he's back from Gqeberha. So he's bringing you the National Pulse between 3 and 6. From myself and my team, have an incredible weekend. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News.
This is SAFM.
Just tell me about how this concert series fits in with what you are trying to do with these young people.
The reality is that private funders do not just thoughtlessly throw their resources around.
It is one thing to get a backtrack like that for a finance guy, hey?
Somebody just WhatsApped me to say that she has a daughter who has hearing loss.
Corruption in South Africa has reached disgraceful levels.
First things first, let's get to my daily that's my point feature. So, did you see Cristiano Ronaldo cry yesterday?
This.
The late Nelson Mandela's family in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape has called for the immediate release of South Africans and other nationals, including Nelson Mandela's grandson Mandla Mandela, who were detained following the interception by Israel of the global Samud flotilla in the international waters. The incident happened on Wednesday evening. Mandla Mandela's wife Nosekeni says her husband was driven to help by Ubuntu.
When I said bye to him at the airport, I did not know if I was going to see him again, when or in what condition I'm going to receive him. But we are praying and we are trying to make everybody aware, and we are calling for his release, and we are calling for the release of all the captives, because they were unarmed. They had nothing more than food, water, baby supply, medication. These are a group of humanitarians that went out that said that they can no longer stand by and not take action.
The EFF has questioned the timing the guilty verdict against Julius Malema handed down by the East London Magistrate Court in the Eastern Cape. Malema was found guilty of unlawful possession of a firearm, ammunition and discharging a firearm in public during the EFF's 5th anniversary celebrations at Sisa Dugashe Stadium in Mdantsane. His former bodyguard and co-accused Adrian Snyman was found not guilty. Malema will be sentenced in January next year. The party says it will appeal the judgment. The party's Ngobile Mhlongo.
You can see that this was a political witch hunt. We have seen it from the beginning. Look at the timing. Earlier this year, Donald Trump called for our president to be arrested in the White House when Cyril Ramaphosa visited. And they kept quiet and never told him that there's laws in this country. And now that there's a sentencing now on his name, suddenly there's AGOA negotiations are back on the table. So the timing of all of this is very important. We are going to a local government election, and now there's books to tarnish his image.
The Modimolle Regional Court in Limpopo has heard that accused number one in the trial regarding the theft of $580,000 at President Ramaphosa's Palapala farm purchased several vehicles to the value of about 4 million rand. The witness, who is an employee at a car dealership in Gauteng, told the court that Emanuela David bought 6 vehicles paid for in dollars. 2 of the vehicles cost 1.2 million rand each. David and siblings Floriana and Ndilinasho Joseph allegedly broke into President Ramaphosa's farm and stole the money in 2020. The witness testified that David told him that he sold diamonds from Namibia.
About 1.2 million.
And the second G63?
Around the same. The Porsche Carrera 4S was about 800,000. All the cars were used, the dollars were used. He was from Namibia, he should sell diamonds. He should get diamonds from Namibia and take it to Cape Town there.
KwaZulu-Natal Premier Thamsanqa Ntuli has approached the Special Investigating Unit to probe allegations of fraud, corruption and maladministration in several departments in the province. The investigations are also set to focus on senior government officials, including executive members. Addressing the media in Durban, Ntuli said that departments implicated include transport, education and health, which are all ANC-led. Ntuli, who is the IFP chairperson in the province, said being in a coalition government won't prevent him from acting against those looting state funds. The late former President Robert Mugabe's son has been remanded in custody in Harare pending his bail ruling from his arrest on Wednesday. Robert Mugabe Jr., aged 33, was allegedly found in possession of marijuana worth $30. Police searched a black sling bag he was wearing at the time, and he allegedly found 2 small packets of cannabis. Following the incident, police said in a statement that 5 people in a syndicate linked to him were also arrested. Recapping the top story, the late Nelson Mandela's family in Mthatha in the Eastern Cape has called for the immediate release of South Africans and other nationals, including Nelson Mandela's grandson, Mandla Mandela, who were detained following